Welcome to the Between the Pages podcast. Today we're going to be talking about teaching kids to serve, small acts that build big character.
Yeah, that's a good topic, Sarah. I mean, I'm Jimmy. This is Sarah. This is our podcast. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
And it comes from JG. It's finally out in print. So you can get your copy of JG.
Greg's making a cameo.
Yeah, Greg's here.
Greg from Who's Greg has showed up today. Hey, Greg, lay down and be normal.
Yeah, don't mess with the wires.
So, yeah. Be a normal cat, if that's possible.
If you see this cut out, it means Greg messed with the wire. We had to restart.
No, we're not going to do that. Anyway, that's a good topic, though, because you want the kids to have good character, and the way you do that is by developing virtues. And, there are virtues such as honesty and different ones that are important, that you want to instill in your children. And so, and then that way they can be an example to other people. That maybe someone might want to emulate them or be like them. I want to be like you, kind of thing. So, but yeah. You got to, in order to do that, I mean, for some people it does come somewhat naturally, but, you have to teach that, okay? And so how do you teach that? How do you get it to a point where it's something that people, build upon? Like you start out with a basic chore or activity around the home, one that's helpful to the family and to the other people in the group, in the community of your home. And then once that gets figured out,
like, pay attention to me.
Hey.
I don't know what this podcast is, but you need to pay attention to me, man.
Yeah. Who's Greg? Yeah, they all met him. He's a for real cat. So I guess the thing is not to get too distracted or off topic, but
like we do every podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how you do it. You start out with you find a simple task that the child can perform in the family, like, I don't know, if it's just something.
Well, that's why I said chores as a contribution, not as a punishment.
Yeah, like
some people are like, oh, you did this, now you have all these chores, but it's like we're all a family. We should all be helping out together.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is I guess there's a couple ways of looking at it. I mean, it is helping to empty the dishwasher and put up the dishes after they've been washed. Is that a punishment or not? It could get to the point where even if just doing it would be like, oh no, I got to do the dishwasher again. How come I always do the dishwasher? And that's the hazard that you run into is, one child or another is going to be good at something. Oh, well, why don't we let you do the trash cans? Because you're really good at it and no one else seems to be able to do it, so you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, that's in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The Roderick was like, he's talking to his little sibling. He's like, this is how you get out of it. You just act like you don't know what you're doing. And it's like,
just don't do it correctly.
Yeah.
And eventually they go, well, maybe I'll let you do something different.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, no.
I was enjoying that. Yeah. Okay, well, if you insist. So, but yeah, you got to watch out for that, and because children can be a little manipulative, I guess, if you're not careful. But yeah. So to get away, like you were relating the story about, we used to go out and we would clean up the side of the road.
Yeah. Well, and we lived on a dead end road, so it was a little bit safer. And we always had a parent with us.
Yeah.
And it was like an activity. It wasn't like, oh, go clean up the road. It was like, oh, we're all, we were excited about it as kids. Like, oh, this is the day we clean up the road. And we had our wagons and all of our stuff. And we would walk down one side and go down the other.
Yeah.
But, you could do that in a little dead-end road, cul-de-sac type thing. Always have your parents' permission if you're going to do stuff outside.
Well, those kind of things they're beneficial. Your neighbors may or may not notice. I don't know if they noticed that you did that or not. That you actually helped clean up the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But You know, I don't know. Your kids grow up, they move away. Do they still go out and clean up on their street? No.
Yeah.
But it was something we did, because it's, well, I
Well,
mean,
introducing it with the kids too is asking questions about it. Well, what's one helpful thing you can do today?
right.
And beats being vague of just be helpful. Asking them, getting their ideas and inputs on, well, what can we do to be helpful? Because even they might have ideas that you haven't thought of. You
Yeah,
know?
right. And we would always do those kind of activities. We wouldn't go out in the pouring down rain
Yeah.
and rain jackets. We always did. It was a warm day. It was a sunny day, so you're outside, you're getting a little vitamin D, you're getting a little sunlight, you're getting a little
Yeah.
fresh air, and so and who knows what you're thinking about. Everybody thinks about something different. I just want to get this done so I can go do something
Yeah.
else. Or, you're thinking about some program or problem you have, a homework
Well,
assignment
yeah,
or
and
something.
even just and asking your kids about different things being helpful and even pointing out when other people are helpful to you kind of lets them be more aware of it, draws not attention to it because you're not looking for a reward, but even so that they can spot and see to be helpful on their own.
Yeah, and there are people who are, um, in your home, neighborhood, or whatever, that need have needs.
Yeah.
And we have wonderful neighbors here. That in our community, and everybody's willing to help one another and do things for one another. And there's no expectation of any kind of.
Thing in return.
I mean, if you say thank you, they're like, "Well, you're welcome," that kind of thing. So, um, yeah, I mean,
Greg's like, pay attention to me,
we're
guys.
paying attention to you, Greg. And so, how can we not pay attention to you, huh? How can we not? Uh, yeah. So, but in our neighborhood, there are people who help out and do things for other people. And in your neighborhood, in the neighborhoods that you
Yeah.
live in, there are people there who are could use a hand with their inside chores or something, or getting the trash out, or they're just lonely and they'd
Yeah.
like to have somebody to talk, speak with or
Oh, and
talk
that's the
to.
thing too. It's just little simple things that you can do.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be some long, drawn out, big
right,
thing.
right,
It can just be something as simple as, "Oh, I was taking my trash can, so I took yours too." If you have that, relationship too, you don't want to just go over to people's houses and do stuff. Some people might be like, "What are you doing?"
yeah. If you get the
But
feeling that somebody doesn't want you around, then don't.
yeah,
Yeah, you gotta use your best judgment. I mean, really and truly. Well, like for instance, you mentioned you guys were out on a walk and you saw some people
oh yeah, it
struggling to
was a
get
few
the.
weeks ago with the church was putting away all their Christmas
Right.
decorations. And we were just on our walk, and it walks past their church and over to the hospital, and they were struggling. They was, I mean, not struggling. They would have totally probably been able to do it all by themselves. But it was just two older people in 60s or 70s, and you had to hold it and unscrew it. And once it comes unscrewed, all the weight goes on that board
Yeah. Right.
again. And so we just stopped and helped them put it. It took 2 minutes to put it in their car and everything, and nobody got hurt.
Right.
Which, not saying somebody would have,
Right.
but I mean, it doesn't take much to
Right.
stop and help.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with doing good deeds.
Yeah.
Good deeds are a good thing. I mean, not that good deeds.
But that's the thing too, stopping and noticing that someone even needs help instead of just staying in your own little world. Oh, we're just, in our conversation.
Right. Yeah. You may ask, well, can y'all use a hand with that? And they mean, oh, we got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Or
think they
whatever.
did say that, and we were like, "No, we're gonna help you."
Okay, and so yeah, you help them anyway, But if somebody's insistent, no, I got this, I don't
Yeah.
want to. Okay, then you just say, well, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so there's many opportunities like that on a daily, weekly basis,
Yeah.
just there in your neighborhood.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Right, and you gave the example of kind of a simple task at a food pantry where you were checking um, you know, expiration dates,
Yeah.
I guess, when, You know, usually the labels that are on food are best if used by. It doesn't mean that the food's
Yeah.
been expired. It just means it's past its peak flavor or freshness time.
Yeah, but what I was saying was when we went and helped, that was all the help they needed that day was just organize these by date. I guess so they can send out, the closer to the use by first before the newer stuff.
Right.
Because when people donate stuff, there's things from, oh, we just picked this out of our pantry and it's gonna expire in 3 months. And there's stuff that they're like, oh, we gotta have something for the food drive. Go buy something at the store. So there's all different range,
Right.
and we just sat there and organized everything by the date for them.
Yeah, and I'm just saying,
And
expired by is probably a bad choice of words because
yeah,
it's best if it's used by, or
yeah,
best if used before. But it's not like the food expires. I mean, if you have chickens or something of that nature, and you got a can of corn you don't want to eat, open that can of corn and give it chickens. They don't have a
oh yeah,
problem with it, and so it's still fit for consumption. It may not be something that a human may want to eat, but an animal, it could be used for animal purposes. We waste a lot of food in
oh
this
yeah.
country that could be
But I was
going to
just
feed
saying, there's
livestock and stuff.
different things that you can do even if you don't think you're able to do anything.
Yeah, right.
There's
Yeah,
something you can do.
right.
You shouldn't just go, oh, well, I'm not capable, so I don't have anything I can do to help because I'm not Johnny Green.
Yeah.
I'm not as cool as him, so I can't do anything. But you can't. There's always something. There's always somewhere that they need
Well,
you.
yeah, in the book JG, those are just examples
Yeah.
of things you could do. There's, you probably could have had a book that was, like that, encyclopedia of things you could possibly do to help out in your community.
Well, I don't want to. You don't want to. Everybody's always so thankful and grateful when people help out. But the thing I've noticed in multiple different situations over this year, and we hadn't planned on talking about this, but in service and everything, that's part of, regular life. But there's been lots of times recently that it's like we go to do something or help out, and they're like, not as many people as we thought volunteered.
Right.
So we really expected there to be more people, but it's only like the three of you. Or, we've gone to help out and it's like it's all the older people in the church.
Yeah, right.
And it's like all the older people in the church are doing this and none of the young, not that, there's tasks for the young men of the group, that they always put those heavy tasks and things on them, but sometimes you do need younger bodies to go climb up on you don't want the 70-year-old lady climbing up into the
a lot
thing
of times
to do
too,
stuff.
the older people are they're retired.
Yeah, they have time.
Yeah, they have availability or whatever, and so the younger people are making a living, and if you work all day making a living, the last thing in the world you want to do is go climb up on somebody's roof. But sometimes you have to
Yeah. Well, I just know there's a lot of always talk about like donating and giving money, but giving your time too is really valuable and it really helps out.
Well, I mean, if there's organizations that you believe in, they have expenses. They have utility. They have all kinds of things that they need to pay for, repairs to their facilities and stuff. And so you need to, if that's important to you, then you need to contribute to that.
Yeah.
Money. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, that's what it takes to keep the doors open. That's what it takes to keep the lights on. And if it's a cause you don't believe in, well, then you don't have to worry about it.
So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and so
I gave little ideas for how to do small acts that build character. And basically just teaching kids to serve, but also doing thank you notes, helping a neighbor, donating your toys or books that you have extra, because that's helping too. Instead of just I used this until it was so damaged we had to throw it away. Only donate it when you're like, well, I don't really play with this anymore.
Well, if you're getting rid of it because it's broken or torn or you wouldn't use it, well, you got to be thinking, well, okay, if I was on the receiving end of this,
Exactly.
would I want this or whatever? So yeah, think about it that way. But in general, sometimes um, it, from the person who's receiving the item, it's actually probably sometimes better than nothing.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a trade off there, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then doing things in your church and community, small tasks, and praying for others. Because that's something anybody can do. Is pray for others.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually that doesn't happen. That's one of the things that Jane does, and Jane interpretating. She's praying for other people, but in general, most people pray for themselves.
Yeah. Or their family.
Or their immediate family or something of that nature. They're not really focused on other people that may have needs or whatever. And so, it's all. And so those are characteristics, and virtues, if you will, that you need to instill in their children when they're young.
Yeah.
Because as they get older, they become more concerned about the world.
Yeah.
And the secular, activities associated with that than they do about their neighbors or their family or anything. So and it's a little late at that point. It will be perceived as a big inconvenience if you go to your teenager and they haven't developed a habit of service, if you will.
And you're like,
we're all volunteering this week. We're going to go.
I was going to say, we signed you up for this mission trip.
Yeah, we're going
See you in a few months.
Yeah. You can't do that. What? No, you're just going to get complaints,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Whereas some people are like, what's our next great adventure?
Yeah.
Who do we help next? And then sometimes, I mean, if you got there's a episode of Nanny Griffith where the lady, she didn't get her pill or whatever, and so she gets down under the weather. Well, everybody brought her food. There's something to eat. And she had a whole living room, parlor area full of these different types of food. It doesn't take a lot. If you know somebody in your neighborhood who's a little bit down, can't cook right now, or whatever, to put together a meal and take a meal over and just, give it to them. And that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you were already cooking anyway, right? So, I mean, so it's that kind of thing, just, and so a lot of what we're talking about is the easy things. We're not talking about looking at somebody's house and going, man, they need a new roof, or, wow, we got to paint this place. I mean, those are those big jobs you're talking about that take a whole crew of people to accomplish. We're just talking about simple things, So, yeah. I mean, my neighbor was down on his luck one time, or he wasn't feeling well, so I was cutting my grass.
Oh, yeah, you just went over there and mowed it, and he was like,
I'm on a zero turn. It's nothing to me, man. I just ride around for another hour, cutting his yard, And it's like, I cut his grass. I don't know if I cut it to the quality that he would appreciate, but I cut it, and, and that was nothing. That's just an hour, or something at a time. I had a neighbor one time. They moved out of their house. They moved to Iowa or some other state. They had their house on the market. And
talking about Georgia?
No, this was in Alabama. And
really?
Just across the street, yeah. And it was like knee high over there. And so my oldest son and I, we went over there and we push mowed their yard.
No way. I thought you were talking about Miss Skip. We used to bring her food.
We cut her grass before.
Well, we used to bring her food all the time. We would be making
cut her
food
grass.
Stuff. And we did that as kids. That is what it is. That's probably why I do things all the. Not that you have to teach it when they're young, and you used to do that all the time to us. You would make food for Miss Skip, and you would be like, "Oh, Sarah, go walk down the street. The 2 of you or 3 of you go take this over to Miss Skip." Yeah. And wow, look at you. But that's
the other thing. Well, it's not so much that as that, but you have. Your children are looking, we've talked about in the past, they're looking at you as an example.
Yeah.
And so if they see you doing these things, then they're going to be thinking, oh, okay, that's
this is what's normal.
That I should do.
This is what we do.
If they're in a congregation or a community where those types of things happen, then they'll grow up, to be good neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kind of a tell, but you can always ask people, what's it like where you live? And if they start in with, I don't like it. My neighbors are not good people. I don't like living here. Well, then usually what that is that they're telling on themselves.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of Between the Pages podcast. Like, subscribe, follow for more. See you next time.